Good afternoon, class. I am Specialist Black, and today I'm going to be briefing you guys over the 7 Army values. The overall classification of this brief is going to be unclassified. I'd like to thank our SGL, Sergeant Breddy, for being in attendance today. It is an honor to have you here. The purpose of today's brief is going to be to go over the 7 Army values, what it means to live by these values, as well as what is the overall importance of the 7 Army values. So moving on, our agenda, like I said, once we finish up here, we'll be moving into explaining each of the Army values, moving into what it means to live by them, their importance, and then we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you guys do have questions, I ask that you hang on to them until I pull up the slide that asks for questions on it. That way we do not get off topic and we can continue moving. A little bit of history. The 7 Army values that the Army uses today have not always been there. These values were adopted into the Army in 1995. Previously, the Army used the 4 enduring Army values. These consisted of loyalty to the institution, which basically stated that these soldiers were there to serve and defend the nation. The second one was loyalty to the unit. This refers to the individual soldiers' loyalty to their comrades, as well as the organization that they belong to. Third is personal responsibility. This means that the individual soldier, they have that responsibility to fulfill the tasks in which they are tasked out with. And lastly, in the 4 enduring Army values is selfless service. Selfless service is still in the 7 Army values that we use today. And basically this means that, a soldier will place the Constitution, the United States Army, their unit, their comrades, they're going to place everybody else above them. So moving on, the 7 Army values are instilled into every soldier during basic training. Every one of you has been through basic training, and I remember that they were constantly pounded into us that, that it was, these were the standard of how we live and how we act. These 7 Army values are something that's going to stick with you throughout your entire career. And then after your career. If you get out after your first term of enlistment, or if you retire, these 7 Army values are going to stick with you, and even without recognizing it, they're gonna follow you through life. Moving on to the 7 Army values. Our first value out of these 7 Army values is loyalty. Loyalty states that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution, the Army, the unit, as well as other soldiers. Duty. Duty is the sense of the soldier fulfilling their obligation. Respect. Respect is something that everybody's taught growing up, all the way back into grade school. It's one of the first things that is instilled in a person, and that's basically just the old saying of treat others how you wish to be treated. If you're at the PX walking around and bump into somebody, they drop something, help them pick it up. If you're walking into the gas station and somebody's coming in behind you, take a second, hold the door open for them. Take just that little bit of time out to have a little bit of compassion for other people and respect them. Next, we have selfless service, as mentioned in the 4 enduring Army values. Selfless service is, placing the mission, placing the other soldiers, placing the nation, the Constitution, placing civilian lives, all of these things above your own. as soldiers were in it for the greater good. Next we have honor. Honor is, how I think about honor is, serve in a fashion that the people that have served before you, whether they are family or not, make those people proud of you. Make them proud that you are now wearing the uniform. With that, that goes into all of the Army values. You're honoring the Army by living to these values. That brings us into integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's there. That's how I always remember integrity. Integrity is doing what is right, what is legal, and what is moral. That's kind of the three prongs for integrity. If, for example, if you were out walking around, all of a sudden you stumble into a room and there's $100 million in the corner, well, nobody's going to know if you take it, and are they going to miss just a couple $100? It's having that thought and realizing, no, that money is not mine. I'm not taking a penny of it. It's legally wrong. It's not right, and it's definitely not morally right to take something that is not yours. Which, lastly, the seventh value in the 7 Army values is personal courage. Personal courage is having the ability to act honorably and face fear, danger, or adversity. A lot of people think of personal courage and you immediately think to, a gunfight or something like that, sprinting through a hail of gunfire to go save somebody or something. It's not necessarily that. It's having the courage to stand up for the little guy, having the courage to get up in front of a group of people and teach a class. Personal courage can be a list of things. Next, we'll get into what does it mean to live by the Army values. One way I like to think about this is growing up, I always had this envision of the United States Army, and you'd see a soldier, whether it was on TV, in person, in the newspaper, and I don't know about you guys, but at least I did. I just thought of these people as just this figure that couldn't do wrong, and just an upstanding citizen. So how can you live up to that? How can you live up to that standard? It's easy. Live by these 7 Army values. Practice them in everything you do. Some do's, easy one, respect. Just treat everybody with dignity. Be happy, be humble, and treat everybody how you wish to be treated. Integrity, just keep on doing what's right. Personal courage, have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and maybe help another soldier out with something. Some don'ts would be, if you're wearing the uniform, you got to make sure that you're on your best behavior. Don't be purposefully, just because you're not on post, don't be walking around on your cell phone. This just looks bad to the public, and like I said, it could ruin the entire public's perception of the United States Army. So what are the importance of the Army values? The importance of the Army values, and another reason why they are instilled in us during basic training, is because it's a foundation for us starting to build that military bearing. It's the stepping stones to becoming a soldier, and on top of that, it affects the public's view and opinion of us. So like I was saying, if you're out acting like a fool in public and people are seeing you do this, they're gonna think, wow, look at how these soldiers are acting. And pretty soon their perception of 1, 2, 3 soldiers is gonna reflect on the entire Army. Another important factor of the Army values is, the legacy that's behind it. Kind of like I touched on with honor in the 7 Army values. It's making those that served before you proud, you know, and just serving the best of your abilities. In conclusion, the 7 Army values are instilled with us in basic training at the very beginning of our Army career, and they're something that will stick with us all the way throughout our career, and then carrying on into, you know, our discharge and living as a civilian from day to day. Are there any questions at this time? This will conclude my brief.